back, Storytellers. It's Josh Weedy Talker, and today I'm going to be talking about 5 reasons that Thor Love and Thunder could suck as it is coming out in theater just this Friday. Let me know down in the comments below if you're excited for Thor Love and Thunder and what your anticipations or your worries about this film could potentially be as we're getting into it. But before I begin, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of this future content as we dive into film and culture all combined. And coming in number 5, we have Taika Waititi's first sequel. Now, this is a film that is going to be his first sequel as its own his original content. And while you could argue that he did make the third Thor movie, it did feel a lot more fresh and new to the Thor franchise. And this is a sequel that will be probably a lot more familiar with this, and while Gore the God Butcher could change that with the style it goes for with the darker tone, it all could depend on whether it's all gonna be the same sort of feel or not with the dark tone that it potentially should be with Gore the God Butcher. But number 4, we have too many characters that just are too important with Valkyrie and Mighty Thor and Thor. While ultimately this is a Thor movie, it does have these added characters that we have gotten before. And while the Guardians may not be on screen as long as we expect them to not really be as much in this film when there's already a Guardians 3 coming out, overall, this film does still have this build-up of characters that weren't necessarily as important as you've seen since the first and second film. He was more solo, having these side characters, compared to now where we have all these new characters that create their own character arcs that could be potential future outliers in the MCU that are just taking up too much space for this story. But coming in number 3, we have Thor and Mighty Thor arc. Just with the way we get Jane Foster, her relationship to Thor, not knowing if she's going to take up too much time in comparison to this being a normal Thor film, to where this isn't necessarily derivative to being called Thor and Mighty Thor, and just not knowing the balance between the two, what we're gonna get with Thor's potential journey to go into resting as a god, and just with the way they're going throughout their arcs, it just could potentially fail in balancing out the time that we do have with this film. And coming in with number 2, we have feeling out of place in the MCU, and just feeling with the 80s vibe that we're getting, but also with this being the first, one of the more familiar characters in the MCU, and going into phase 4 where we're getting a ton of new characters, it feels like MCU phase 4 just haven't found its ground yet with what it's wanting to really do with the future, and this could feel like another film that just doesn't offer too much more for the future. Maybe it does, but also maybe it just feels too much connected to what we got before and not going forward in time. But coming in, number 1 reason for what I think why Thor and Thunder could suck is that they're outdoing the humor and not taking the film so seriously. Again, I mentioned with the Gore the God Butcher arc, where it could be a potentially really dark timeline, but with Taika Waititi's humor and the way they go about it, we've already seen some of the humor within the trailer itself, and while it can add a good mix of that compared to completely dark and absolutely just a sad movie, overall, they could outdo themselves with the humor and ultimately dry out what the darkness is really within the arc of Gore. But that's just my 5 reasons why Thor Love and Thunder could suck. Let me know down in the comments below if you have any more added reasons and which one of these agree with the most. Let me know your anticipation for this film. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.